Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Avcci, your host. I'm welcoming you episode 204. We are in season 7 in the American Business Podcast. As you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com, and here is the quote of the day. In ordinary life, we hardly realize that we receive a great deal more than it is only with gratitude that life becomes rich. As you know, about 7 weeks ago, we launched America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce, an industry powered by the American Business Podcast. Our mission at AVCCI is simple: to promote, support, uplift, and connect American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the business community for success in this age of AI. We are inclusive, from solo entrepreneur to Fortune 500 company. There is always something to benefit from at AVCCI. For example, we have a business book club. We have great co-chairs, great leaders. Steve and Jim, they are leading our group, and we are featuring published business authors, and we review business books. We have Women in Business Committee. We have Manufacturing Committee. We have Nonprofit Committee. We have Technology for Business Committee. We have Public Speakers Club, and many other committees and clubs are available for education, for connection, and for podcasting. Every single activity at AVCCI is recorded and pushed to the American Business Podcast for visibility and publicity purposes. Please go to avcci.us and learn more about America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI, powered by the American Business Podcast. Our committee meetings, which we have right now more than 13 committees available. Our committee meetings are inclusive and complimentary. You can join any of them. You don't have to be an AVCCI member to join our committee meetings. When you go to avcci.us website, go to the events section, you'll see our event calendar, which is the best in North America, I have to say. And you can pick the event that you like to attend, sign up, complimentary, no charge, and join us and connect with other AVCCI members, other business professionals, leaders, and executives. I'm looking forward to welcoming you at AVCCI, and thank you for your support. Well, okay, great. I have a special guest today in the American Business Podcast. Let's invite our guest to our stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Arthur. Welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Thank you very much. I'm greatly glad to be here.
Thank you very much. And I am also welcoming you to AVCCI, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, powered by the American Business Podcast. Now, officially, you are a member. Welcome to AVCCI. What is your first impression about AVCCI so far, your experience so far?
You know, I think it's great, the kind of the breadth of everything. You say virtual, but what I really see is just a really expansive, all-inclusive type of a chamber of commerce, and rather a global chamber of commerce. So I think it's great, and I love the different committees, the different breakouts that you've put together.
I appreciate it. Well, you are a seasoned, actually business leader, and your feedback, your thoughts are really meaningful, really important for us, really meaningful, and I truly appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to working with you very closely at AVCCI.
Same here.
You have decades of experience, a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and I'm looking forward to seeing you connecting with other AVCCI members and AVCCI community.
Thank you.
It's very exciting. Well, okay. So actually, earlier this year, I hosted you in the American Business Podcast. We talk about brand telling. We talk about your career journey. That was actually great episode. We got a lot of views, a lot of positive feedback, and also, we had these episodes only for 30 minutes. But obviously, someone like yourself with decades of experience, a lot of knowledge, 30 minutes is not enough to learn from you and learn more about you as well. So today I like to take this opportunity to dive deeper into what you do and how businesses actually benefit from your services, and also what type of challenges that you see in businesses that you help.
Sure, thanks.
Why don't we do this as a start for those who didn't watch the previous episode when we hosted you in the American Business Podcast? Let's start with little introductions. Tell us about yourself a little bit briefly and your company, and then we'll dive deeper into the some of your brand telling practices, if that's okay.
Sure.
I'm Mel Blackwell, the president of Blackwell Media Group, and I'm a proud member of the AVCCI. Joined recently, and very, very supportive and excited about that. As president of Blackwell Media Group, basically, I'm a retired corporate fixer. For 35 years, I've worked in global companies, domestic U.S. companies, to help boards and C-level teams try to figure out how to solve complex business riddles. In doing that, I actually decided to hang up my cleats because 35 years is a long time. I deployed behind enemy lines. I did not go in as a consultant. I took a full-time role because I loved working with the teams. I loved building the teams, and I liked the smell of napalm, and so I worked in those different stints for 2 to 6 years, and in kind of graduating from that world now, I do keynote speaking at major conferences, at annual retreats for corporate teams, and kind of a hybrid of coming in to speak to a large crowd or even a small room, and then rolling up my sleeves and coaching and helping a team solve a specific complex riddle. In doing all of that, what I realized, I wrote a book called Uncommon Sense: How to Fix Your Workplace Culture in the Wild West of Business. In doing all that, I realized, reflecting back, for about a year, I wrote the book that I've been working on for 20 years. And when I finally said, all right, I'm going to write this thing, I realized almost everything I did was culture. And so I am somewhat of a culture architect. I've had a reputation of being very plain spoken. What you see is what you get. Funny. I like to have fun, but pretty serious. And I can do some really complex, brutal stuff, whatever it takes to protect the culture and the good people. And so that's what I do now. I do the speaking, and I work with people. Don't even be embarrassed. It's like, Mel, we have this really complex riddle we're beriddled by it. I'll come in, roll up my sleeves, and we'll slay that thing. So that's what I do, and I'm looking forward to it. And I highly recommend everybody support Kevin and the AVCCI.
That's okay.
Sure. So I started out in publishing. I was an editor and writer for business and technology publishing. I moved into public relations and marketing, and then I started my agency a little over 20 years ago. We had a different name then. We were Communication Strategy Group. Started out doing technology PR, changed to do content marketing, and now our focus is on establishing brand stories, and we've taken on the name brand telling, which was the approach that we used. But in all of that, Kevin, what we really do is we try to uncover or discover the brand stories that really make a company different and that will help a company better connect for stronger relationships and faster sales. And what I mean by that is I see a lot of people struggle to tell their story, what they do. So what they do is they do that default. They just say, I'm an attorney, or they say, we sell software, and without really expressing that story about, well, who are you an attorney for? Who do you make software for? How do they benefit? Then they start to do the feature talk. I'm an attorney, and we cover, these 3 things. But most attorneys do. What's different about you? So that's what we do, is we try to uncover what makes you different. That's that brand story that's really yours. And then how do you express that? That's what I've really enjoyed. And it's the same thing I did when I was a writer before. I try to understand, what's the story that you're telling me? Why does it deserve to be covered for the readers? Now I try to understand, what's the story that we're trying to talk about? Why does it deserve to be covered for your customers or for your partners? And that's what I really enjoy doing at brand telling.
Let's dive deeper into these, if that's okay.
Sure.
So what type of challenges that you see in businesses from different industries? You just touch to it a little bit. I understand it. I'd
Mhm.
love you to actually dive deeper if that's okay. So our
Yeah,
audience really
absolutely.
appreciate the depth of it. So what do you see that they are really having challenges of that you really help them? And also, if you can also give examples from different industries. You just mentioned, for example, software and, for example, attorneys. Any
Sure.
other, or if you like dive deeper, please tell us more about it.
Yeah. So you mentioned early on using AI today, and we see a lot of industries are attempting to use AI. The first thing that they try to use AI to do is to write for them. The second thing might be to automate a process, but they're often using AI as a shortcut to write. And sometimes you may have gotten some of these emails I have. Somebody writes an email, they grab that email, they toss it into their AI, they have AI come up with an answer, they toss it back in the email, and they send it off. They've never read it, they have absolutely no idea what they've just responded to, but
Yes.
it looks nice, right?
Yes.
And so
Sometimes you can tell they have the same template, like as
yeah,
if
they
same.
use the same
You can
template.
tell this is written by AI. Like just by looking at it, you can just tell.
In LinkedIn, right? You see the response. Somebody will respond to you in LinkedIn. Most of the response are, "That's really great, Kevin. I really like the point you made about X." But then there's that one that says, "Kevin, if we listen deeply," and you're like, "Okay, somebody else wrote this." and it goes into this long diatribe, and it wasn't written by them. Uh, so the default to that is, I often say, if you work within an industry, there are already things, words, phrases that you say that everyone does. If you are a wealth manager, you often are going to say that you are helping your clients to build the life they want to lead. You're helping them to leave a legacy for their family. You're helping them to figure out what their retirement looks like. There are those phrases that you already know are very common within the industry. And so everyone sounds a little bit alike when they use that. When you add in AI, they all sound much more alike. I like to say it's like throwing things into a blender, and everything comes out much more bland when you're done. So I'm not against AI. I think you can use it to help you. So if we go back to your question, with some examples, if you look at, I work with a lot of managed service providers. If you look at managed service providers, they often will rely on the language from their vendors. So if they work with Cisco or Dell, they're using some of the language from Cisco and Dell. Unfortunately, that makes them look or sound a lot alike. You go from MSP to MSP, and they sound a lot like the vendors they work with. But if you actually sit down and ask them what they do, who they work for, they're unique. They're completely different. Maybe they specialize in a geography. You and I are here on Long Island. Perhaps they're a managed service provider and they really focus on the Long Island geography, and they understand differences about companies doing business here on Long Island. And that's great. Maybe they're focused on a particular industry. They work in the fashion industry. They understand the needs of designers, the needs of production departments in fashion, and that's who their focus is. But what you hear from them doesn't sound like that. Not until you sit down and talk to them, because the websites all look the same. So what I like to do is sit down and say, okay, who is it that you're serving, and what is it that they need? Why do they come to you? What's the benefit they get from you? And how's that different from just the things that you're able to do? The things that you're able to do if you're one of those service providers is that you understand the technology and you begin to default there and just talk about the technology. That's what I mean by being able to be a little bit different.
How do you do it when you see when you engage with your clients and you see how they actually try to promote themselves and position themselves, and obviously they are not telling the essence of about their brand.
Yeah.
What is the process to actually
My,
make it the right way?
yeah.
Hi, I'm Christine Daniels. I'm a high performance coach, executive strategist, and keynote speaker. I'm also a founding member of America's first virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the co-chair of the Leadership and Management Growth Committee. I run my own business. It's a coaching and consulting practice. The work I do is about developing leaders, building stronger teams, and integrating high performance with personal alignment, that inner work that makes the outer work sustainable. I deliver this through executive coaching, leadership development, and strategy work with executives, founders, and leadership teams. Before this chapter of my career, I spent over 25 years across capital markets, family office investing, and venture capital. One of the things I value most about AVCCI is what it actually is: a national community where professionals, business owners, and organizations connect, collaborate, and amplify each other's work. Building a business is one thing. Building it with the right relationships, the right visibility, and the right network across the country, that is something else entirely. And AVCCI is where that happens. If this sounds like the kind of community you've been looking for, we would love to have you. Learn more at avcci.us and learn more about my work at christineadaniels.com. I look forward to connecting.
Hi, I'm Steve Turner and excited to be a part of the American Virtual Chamber of Commerce, AVCCI. I am the owner and operator of Solomon Turner Public Relations in St. Louis, author of the book PR That Works, and a national speaker. We solve the problems of helping companies build their brand through PR strategies in this crazy era of AI. Solomon Turner helps business owners better connect with their customers and communities that they serve for the long term, and we help sales and marketing with long-term growth by using these PR strategies. We have clients nationwide. We've worked with a lot of people you would know, such as celebrities as Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Steve Forbes, and many corporations like Northwestern Mutual. So I invite you to reach out. Love to talk to you, meet you, and have a conversation. And feel free to email or call at the numbers provided. Thank you so much.
Make it the right way.
Yeah, my process is I often begin with a short assessment. I will sit down. It's really just a consultative assessment where I'm going to sit down and I ask a series of questions to find out more about the firm, more about why they were created, and who they serve, what they're doing. Once I understand that, and when I hear people answer, I take those answers and I compare that to what they say in their website or what they say in a sales presentation. And I look for those gaps. I call them narrative gaps. And then I come back and say, here are the gaps that I saw, and here's what I think we need to do to bridge those gaps between what you've said to me, because what we say together here is less AI, it's less written down. It's much more conversational. So I look for what it is we say here. I like to say I listen between the lines, and then I compare that to what you're saying in your more formal construction online. And then I look for ways to bridge that gap. I literally rewrite the brand into brand guidelines or a brand storybook, which is kind of like a brand Bible. It's a place that has all of your brand truth written down about you. And then you might use that in your website. You might use that in your presentation or in your social media. But this is kind of the first stop before you do all the marketing activities, is to really understand how you want to express the brand that makes it sound much more like you.
Among those industries that you have been working with, which ones are really typically stand out in terms of actually they're offering a great service or a great product, but they're actually having challenge to express themselves and their brand?
That's a really interesting question, Kevin. I don't know if I looked at it that way before. I know the industries that I tend to focus in are B2B, professional services. They're in a growth stage, which means they are growing. They're founder-led, so they're not publicly traded companies. They're still there with the founders' ideas. I work with the technology companies, so that could be managed service providers and software companies. I've worked with engineering firms. So maybe they are doing energy engineering and design. But there's often some particular thing that they do. And I work with manufacturers, often light manufacturing companies. For me, those companies often struggle with differentiating themselves. It's easy enough to default and say, we're engineers or we're designers. But if you go a little bit deeper, you say, well, what kind of engineering do you work on? Oh, well, we work on public agencies. We work for public agencies. We work on buildings. Maybe we work in school districts. Oh, okay, that's a little bit different. That's not just engineers. That's a specific area. So once we can dig in and understand, and it often focuses on that who they serve. Once we have an understanding of that, we can pull it out. So in answer to your question, those three industries, but I would say, Kevin, that many industries have the same challenge. Lawyers, you and I are probably familiar with a lot of law firms. How do they differentiate themselves? They have multiple practice areas and they have multiple attorneys who run those practice areas. But sometimes it's the difference is the type of work they do. I'm aware of a law firm that their focus is very heavy in the biosciences, such to the point that even their attorneys will often go and present at some of the large life sciences conferences because they have that much knowledge that they can be seen in an industry in that way. The same thing with managed service providers. I work with a managed service provider now who will actually provide his knowledge during these CLE courses that the law firms will use for continuing education credits. And the reason is because of the knowledge base that he's built up in their industry and around the services and the technologies that he can support. So that's that I was going to say is that second part. It's not which ones are difficult, and then kind of what can you do about it, and the what can you do about it is to figure out where you have a strong point of view that you can really own. So Kevin, you might look and say you have a strong point of view about building a virtual community of business people who are independent of geography and independent of time, but you can bring them together through your podcast and through your online networks. That's a really interesting point of view, that geography and time no longer matter to bring together business professionals. And I would say that in your case, that's something that you could promote and talk about as a leader, the difference between having to be limited to a geography, having to be limited to a time zone, and being completely free of those barriers. So that's the kind of thing that I work with clients to say, what's that point of view that you can have? How can you be different? And then how do you promote that? What are the types of activities that you use to promote that? And I say it that way because lots of people often begin with the activities. Oh, I'm going to write a blog. I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to get on TikTok. And you say, okay, those are activities, but what's the brand story behind that? Once you know the brand story, you kind of pick the right activities. For you, for example, a podcast is a fantastic marketing activity, and it makes sense because you're talking about virtual communities who aren't time bound, who aren't geography bound, and they're not activity bound, meaning they could listen to this anywhere. Hopefully they're not watching this while they're driving, but they could listen to this while they're driving, right?
Yes.
So they're not bound by any of those constraints. And you figured out that's kind of your secret sauce is that is that ability to broaden your message to that larger community that doesn't have those constraints. And that's great. Other people need to figure out what's their point of view, and then they can promote it.
Mm-hmm. And for businesses, for business owners, business leaders, what is the time that they should get help from you? What is the stress test that they should be doing that actually they really need help to put the story of their brand out there in the right way?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I find it happens in a few different ways. One is when they begin to hire their sales team and they see the sales team kind of struggle to tell the story that is in their mind. That's because they really haven't written it down. They really haven't shared it with them in the way that they want the story told. So that's one, is that when they hire that usually that first, second, or third salesperson, that's one. The other is an acquisition. Could be that they've acquired a company, could be that they've acquired people. When they begin to hire multiple people or acquire a company, I often see things break, because now you have two different companies with two different stories. And if you haven't gone into it figuring out what story is going to lead and how are you going to really blend them together, in a way, if you don't blend them together, you're going to bland them together. You're going to make a bit of a mess of it. And then the third one is when you have a new service. So Kevin, you mentioned that you've got the new AVCCI and your podcast. And if you were to add a third piece in, one of the challenges might be, how has your brand story been written so that you know, as you add new pieces, which one do you lead with? There's always that, we're all human. We want to lead with the brand new thing, and we're going to talk about that. And then you leave behind some of the older things. But if you've really thought about the structure of your brand story, you can tell these pieces as new bricks within the structure that are just building up on the big foundation of your brand. Here's our brand, and we offer these three things. Now let me go into these three things, and you can weight them as necessary depending on your audience, rather than weighting them as, oh, this is the new thing, let me talk all about that and forget the other things. So those three areas, the new sales team, the new acquisition, or the new service, often are where I see the brand begin to fray. And that's where I can really help a growing company to grow, as they grow, to have a brand that grows with them.
Do you see these challenges also in AI companies, AI technology companies?
Yeah, the AI technology companies are interesting for a couple of reasons. There are the very large AI technology companies, Anthropic and Google and X, that are behind some of the models. In front of that, you have AI companies that are using those models in the back end, and they're not necessarily sure how to talk about what they do. Why should you hire, or why should you sign on for an AI SaaS product that is using, Claude in the back end, when you could just use Claude yourself? What they need to do in those cases is really make a solid use case and really focus on what they do. I find the companies that do that well are the ones that focus on a particular industry and say, here's what we do in HR that is a challenge for HR professionals that we have resolved for you through this product, and you can use it. They also do well when they figure out, and they can say that they've integrated with something. So one of the things we're seeing a lot of now is companies that are rolling out MCPs, which are a way to connect an existing product back end to Claude or back end to ChatGPT through an MCP. So those kind of connector products make sense. Back in the day, you and I would have talked about AI, APIs, and how a company might have an API, or they were using Zapier to do some process. So I think the smart companies know who their target audience is and offer them a path to a solution, rather than telling everyone they're AI native or something like that.
Yes, these are really great points and very, very educational. I truly appreciate it. Every business owner, they have to think about where they are in terms of their brand positioning, brand storytelling, brand telling, as you nicely put, and also evaluate their competitors. And at AVCCI, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we always say that there is always something new to learn. So these brand telling is another important point of view. And would you also say brands also evolve over time, that maybe they had a positioning or brand telling in their own way that was actually working in the last 10 years, but times are changing, markets are changing. Now it's time for upgrades or updates, you will say.
Absolutely. As you grow, your brand should grow with you, and things are going to change over time. It happens in a few ways. One, we see the brand that might actually go into the second generation. So the father founded the brand and the daughter takes it over. The daughter is going to put her own imprint, her own fingerprints, I like to say, onto that brand. And she should. And she should bring in something new. Maybe there's a new technology, a new process, a new way of doing things. So that has to go in. And if there's a new process and a new technology, the brand has to change. It has to change the way that it talks about itself. When you take another brand that might have been around for a long time, I like to give the example of software companies. I know you're familiar with this. Two smart guys leave and they're going to consult in an industry. So they begin consulting. And so that's what they're known for. They're known as a consultancy. They hire some people and somebody says, we could actually turn some of what we do into a piece of software. And so they actually create a piece of software. And they move forward a little bit. And now with AI, it's software as a service, and it's got an MCP back to Claude so that you can put it in place. So it's no longer a one-to-one consultancy. It's actually a one-to-many software as a service product. How does that company describe itself now compared to what they might have done on day one? Often they get stuck. They start talking about the consultancy and the good old days, and you never get forward in the message to what do you do today? And that just scares off any potential clients. Others will just talk about what they're doing today, and they'll neglect the long legacy. And so that scares off trust. So there's a balance, right? I want to tell you that we're a 30-year-old company and we're based in one-to-one consultancy, and we have built that in a model, and we've leveraged that now into a model that's available for software as a service, and you can buy it on a per seat basis. That's the message that you want to get towards. So getting there without wasting a lot of time trying to tell somebody, that's exactly what you're talking about, that growth and that change in the message that matches more to your business model.
Well, that's great. And before we end the episode, any final notes that you would like to share with our audience?
Yeah, just that if someone would like to speak about this, if there's something that I've said that kind of resonates with you, sometimes it's something you feel in the pit of your stomach. You say, "Oh boy, he said that," and I really want. Contact me. You can reach me at arthur@brandtelling.com. That's my email address, or you could set up an appointment at letsmeet.brandtelling.com and just use my Calendly to set up an appointment. But I'd love to talk with you about the challenges you're running into and see if there's a way that I can resolve it. And if I can't, there might be somebody who I can refer you to that can.
This is great. We also keep your contact information on the screen for our viewers. And also, I'd like to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
This was actually a very educational episode with you, just like the previous one that we had together in the American Business Podcast. Arthur, again, welcome to America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, powered by the American Business Podcast. And thank you for sharing your professional insights and wisdom with us in these episode in the American Business Podcast.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I enjoyed it.
And I'll see you at next AVCCI committee meeting. We have actually 3 of them, by the way, I have to mention.
Yes.
Next week, yes. Let's announce it. So we have one coming up on Tuesday. It is our Business Strategy and Innovation Committee coming up, and that is for 8 o'clock. And on the same day, on Tuesday, we also have Business Technology, AI, Cybersecurity for Business Committee monthly meeting coming up. That's also very educational. That's scheduled at 11 a.m. Eastern Time Zone. And also for Thursday, we have Long Island Regional Chapter monthly meeting coming up next week. So we have 3 events scheduled. These are the best business networking event for learning, for connecting, and podcasting, because every single America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI meeting, is recorded and pushed to the American Business Podcast for more visibility and publicity opportunity. So I'm very excited for next week. And hopefully I'll see you one of those committee and chapter meetings next week as well.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Thank you very much, Arthur. And we'll be in touch. Appreciate it. And to our viewers and to our listeners, how did you like today's episode. That was actually very informative, right? As I always say, there is always something new to learn in the American Business Podcast. Each episode of American Business Podcast. And today we talk about branding, brand telling, and what is your brand story? If you have a company, if you don't have a company, as a professional, what is your professional brand story? And how do you position yourself? It's actually worth thinking about. And share your thoughts in the chat box. Let us know your feedback. We love to hear from you. And as I mentioned earlier, we have 3 events coming up at America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry at AVCCI. Please go to avcci.us website, go to events section, and see coming events on our event calendar and sign up. Committee meetings are inclusive. They're also complimentary. You can join, sign up, and you can interact with AVCCI members and also start building your business relationships. At AVCCI, our mission is simple: to promote, support, uplift, and connect American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the business community for success in this age of AI. And we are inclusive, from solo entrepreneur to Fortune 500. There is always something new to learn at AVCCI. It is because we have great committees, member-led committees, and clubs: Business Book Club, Public Speakers Club, as well as other committees that we have: Women in Business Committee, Health and Wellness Committee, Nonprofit Committee, and many more. Join us. Go to avcci.us website, sign up for our coming events, and be a member and join growing AVCCI business community. Thank you for your support. We'll be right back after a short break. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Melina Picon. I'm a founding member at America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We would like you to join us today. I am also president of PowerBooks LLC. We provide outsourced accounting, bookkeeping, controller services of businesses of all size. We help them transition from struggling in-house messy bookkeeping to high-level financial department. By outsourcing with us, our clients save up to 40% on their accounting costs, which allows them to focus on generating revenue. We guarantee honest, balanced, timely, and efficient financial services. If you would like to talk us on the phone, you can call us at 845-208-4649. And if you would like to email me, my email address is melina@powerbooks-llc.com. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Mitchell, founding member of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Visit us at www.avcci.us and become a member today. I'm also the owner of Emerald City Ventures. I work with Gen X women who find themselves in a pattern of stopping and starting and starting and stopping. And we reunite you with that version of yourself that you've been trying to reach for years. And she's in there. We're going to bring her out. So visit us at www.kimm.co or email me at theowner@emeraldcityventures.net.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christy Brink, and I'm the owner of Lux Escapes by Christy, personal travel planning, and the co-chair of the Women in Business Committee. I'm a passionate traveler and work closely with my clients to plan personal, curated itineraries around the world. I research the best value, work with local experts around the world, and provide convenience and support so you can travel more and plan less. I am relationship driven, so it's important to me to get to know my clients so I can deliver the best travel experience with each trip. If Women in Business resonates with you, please join me as we work to provide education, inspiration, and support for all women that join. I look forward to getting to know you all. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Beck. I'm the sales manager at Preferred Events, and I'm a proud member of the Americans Virtual Chamber of Commerce, and I'm excited to be here. At Preferred Events, we are the preferred choice for your event rentals throughout the New York metropolitan area and beyond. Whether you're planning a corporate event, a charity walk or run, a fundraiser or gala, a festival, school event, or private celebration, we provide the rentals and the support needed to bring your event to life. Our inventory includes tents, chairs, linens, staging, flooring, fencing, structures, tables, and so much more. What truly sets us apart is the commitment to customer service and helping our clients create successful and memorable events. We work with corporations, nonprofits, schools, municipalities, and event professionals, and we love the opportunity to learn more about your upcoming events and what you're looking to do. If you're planning an event and need a reliable rental partner, please reach out. I look forward to connecting with fellow AVCCI members and finding ways we can support one another's success. Thank you for watching, and I hope to meet you soon.
Hi, I'm Stacy Simbrom. I am a member of the AVCCI. I am also one of the leads of the Women in Business Committee and the Health and Wellness Committee. I run a company called Reflection Project. I am a coach. I am an integrative wellness coach. And what that means is I work with individuals who want to optimize their lives, do better with their wellness, do better in their relationships, and feel better about themselves and the world that they live in. I take an integrated approach, which helps you to learn how to leverage your 3 centers of intelligence, which is your brain, your logic, your emotions, and your body, which is your intuition. I bring several different modalities into this work. I've been doing this work for about 15 years now, and I would look forward to working with you and collaborating with you in this space. If this sounds like something that you would like to learn more about, please contact me either by phone or by email. Thank you very much, and I look forward to meeting with you soon. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Adam Dicker, and the first thing I want to say is how excited I am to be part of the America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry community. I'm also going to be a coach in the Biz Dev and Sales and Marketing Committee, and I'm really looking forward to that and meeting all of you there. To all the entrepreneurs, business owners, and professionals here, it's a pleasure to connect with you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the former executive vice president at GoDaddy, where I spent years helping businesses grow their online presence and succeed digitally. Today, I work with companies to help them generate more leads, improve website conversions, and use AI and automation to grow smarter and more efficiently. One thing I've seen over the years is companies spend heavily on paid advertising and they don't take advantage or optimize the existing traffic or website that they have. You should be getting most of your traffic and leads and opportunities from your website, about 70 to 80%. In reality, your website should be the best salesperson working 24/7 to convert visitors into customers. That's where I come in. I help optimize your websites, improve organic traffic performance, implement those tricky AI tools and with automation, and build systems that reduce dependency on expensive ad platforms like Google and LinkedIn, while increasing your lead generation and customer engagement. My goal is simple: help businesses sustain their growth, increase conversions, and make your marketing work harder. So if you're part of the network and looking for ways to generate more qualified leads, improve your online presence, optimize your website, or leverage AI in your business strategy, I'd love to connect and learn more about what you do. Thank you again for this opportunity to introduce myself, and I look forward to meeting you all shortly.
I'm David Faverio. I'm a founding member of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, other known as AVCCI. I am the chair of the Sustainability Committee. We look to educate people and businesses on how to be more sustainable. and how to introduce sustainability into their business to be more efficient in their operations. I'm also the president of Pupfish Sustainability Solutions. Pupfish's data destruction methods are AAA NAID certified through iSigma, which certifies our adherence to the high security and ethical standards in the data destruction industry. We operate on a zero landfill policy, which means nothing winds up in the landfill. Everything's 100% repurposed or recycled back into the U.S. manufacturing stream. And Pupfish received our certified B Corporation status in 2021, and we are proud to be a force for the local and global good.
This is Tommy DeMisa, one of the partners of Vanguard Benefits. I'm excited to be a new member of the AVCCI. And, you know, it's an organization really that I can tell already from being connected to it that has reach nationally and across many different verticals in business. So I'm excited to be a part of that. So really quick, what I do, one of the partners, as I say, at Vanguard Benefits, and we're an employee benefits agency. We're laser focused on that employee benefits experience. So that means we work with employer groups as they look to create strategic employee benefits solutions. We look to come in and try to help them stabilize their costs around their benefits. And a lot of what we deal with is when folks are looking to attract or retain talent. So that's where we live. We also work to help businesses and nonprofit organizations find ways to really stay compliant around their employee benefits and offset a lot of the burden of implementing an employee benefits plan. So what I like to say is, I was just with a client yesterday, and I like to say we become the outsourced benefits management team for our clients. So our largest client has about 800 employees, and our smallest client has 2 employees. And really where we make the biggest impact is from about 50 to 300 employees. That's where we find that we're really well situated to work with those types of groups. We work with the leadership team, and then we do one-on-one education as appropriate for our clients. So really, we know how expensive benefits can be, and it often is a very personal conversation as it relates to somebody's family and their budget. So we make sure that we're always available to educate. And then we give that one-on-one service through my operations and client service team throughout the year. So I'm always looking forward to meeting with different employer groups, some different strategic partners. For my entire career, I've worked with different CPAs and accountants and other trusted advisors. So happy to be a member of AVCCI, and I look forward to connecting with everybody. And let's reach out. Let's make a new relationship. Take it easy. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Rick Drum, and I am the founder of Peak Growth Solutions, Peak Leadership Teams, and Peak Micro Learning. Prior to starting those companies, I've led companies in manufacturing and distribution in the music industry, which included being president of D'Addario and Company, which is based on Long Island, and also president of Vic Firth Incorporated, which is based up in Boston. So I ran companies for 33 years, and then I started my own coaching business. Again, Peak Growth Solutions, Peak Leadership Teams, and Peak Micro Learning. So I broke them up into 3 pieces because I use Peak Growth Solutions to basically go in and diagnose an organization. I created an app called the Hidden P&L. And what that app does is it does a survey of the leadership team, middle management, and frontline workers. So the leadership team has 30 statements that they rate, middle management 20 statements, frontline workers 12 statements. And out of assessing those statements, I can understand where the alignment or misalignment is inside the organization. And then I can help the organization see what their regular P&L isn't showing them. I call it the hidden P&L, and where they are leaking all kinds of money and opportunities inside the organization. Peak Leadership Teams does the the fixing. It's on the ground. It is working hand in hand with the leadership team and helping them create alignment, create their culture, and create the right structure to help the organization achieve whatever vision that it wants to achieve. Peak Micro Learning is a series of 700 micro courses that range in time from 5 to 15 minutes. And that is really the maintenance of the organization. So those courses are singularly, each course is singularly focused on a specific topic. And they are asynchronous, and they provide a wide range of skill sets to study, but also, most importantly, the durable skills, which are becoming increasingly important to train your people on. So those are the three main services that I offer. I diagnose the organization. I work with the leadership team in person to help the organization with its vision of growth and execution. And then I also provide micro courses to continually train and maintain the workforce. My website is peakgrowthsolutions.com. And my email address is rick@peakgrowthsolutions.com. And my phone number is 774-249-5131. And I look forward to meeting all of you.
Hey everyone, my name is Brent Gary, and I'm proud to be a founder member of the AVCCI, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'm inviting you to join our new movement at avcci.us. In addition, I'm a fractional CMO at Gary Consulting, where I work with business owners who are past the startup stage and fully into scaling, but they need your marketing to go from guesswork to growing. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you for being with me in the American Business Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, guestbooking@americanpodcast.tv. If you'd like to sponsor ABP, if you'd like to advertise in our podcast episodes, please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can advertise your company, your products, your services, and your brands in the American Business Podcast. Please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can also visit our website, americanpodcast.tv, to learn more about the American Business Podcast, as well as our coming streaming schedule. Now you can have your branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast network. We call it Business Podcasting as a Service, PaaS. If you're interested in starting your business podcast in the American Business Podcast Network, please send us an email, paas@americanpodcast.tv. As part of our international expansion, we started international podcast editions. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube page. And please go to the podcast section in our YouTube page, and you'll see our international podcast editions. They are ABP Espanol, ABP German, ABP French, ABP Hindi, ABP Portuguese, and ABP Turk, that you can listen to American Business Podcast in 6 different foreign languages. Okay, well, we are in the process of increasing our presence in social media. If you're on LinkedIn, please scan this QR code and subscribe, follow us on LinkedIn. If you're on TikTok, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our TikTok page. Please subscribe. Please follow us. If you are on Instagram, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Instagram page, and please subscribe. If you are on Facebook, we'll also appreciate your help and support. Please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Facebook page, and please follow us. And finally, we are on IMDb, next to other reputable media productions. Please scan this QR code, go to our IMDb page, and please rate us on IMDb. We'll truly appreciate your help and support. I'd like to thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. I'm looking forward to seeing you in coming The American Business Podcast episodes. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. The American Business Podcast, America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. Thank you very much for your help and looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.